Welcome to For the Drive. I am Collins Ogbona, and this is a very special edition or episode for me at least because of the car we're reviewing today. So this particular car is a 2017 Mercedes-Benz E300 4MATIC, and this is a car bustling with enthusiasm and comfort, and it's just so nice. And the question I want to answer today, of course, with you is this better than an S-Class? Is this a better purchase than an S-Class? And of course, that decision will be based on who you are and what you want from a car. So dive in with me. So we're going to start from the exterior of this car, which is quite beautiful, at least for me. We're going to start from the headlight. I love how Mercedes-Benz was able to integrate those LED streaks, and it just makes the E-Class very exclusive. Those two LED lights separate the E-Class from every other line in the Mercedes-Benz series. And when you come to the grille, it's oversized, it's nice, and it's very heritage looking. It's a very classic looking Mercedes-Benz grille, and it works nicely with the front of the car. When you go lower down, the bumper treatment in this car is very sporty. At the same time, it's quite elegant. So it's a very nice balance between elegance and sportiness. Now let's go back to those headlights. Now the headlights on this car are LED, obviously, and have HID function that is very intelligent. The lights swivel around so that when you're going into a corner, the lights go with you, so that the corner is illuminated before you go into the corner, which is a very, I think very few other cars have that apart from Mercedes-Benz. On the side line of this car, of course, you have a very satisfying design. Now Mercedes-Benz was able to integrate a very swoopy shape with a very strong line that flows from the front of the car to the rear side of the car, which is very beautifuful. In this video, I'll keep using the word beautiful because of how properly the exterior design was executed. This car rides on 18-inch alloy wheels, and those wheels behind them are disc brakes. Now the brakes in front are larger than the brakes at the back, but that's standard in most cars anyway, because the front needs more braking power. And when you go to the rear side of this car, of course, Mercedes-Benz integrated the exhaust pipes beautifully, and the lights at the back are also daytime running lights. They are also LED lights, and they have this beautiful design with them. So all in all, this is a car very much similar in a certain way to the bigger boy, which is the S-Class, but it tones that down a little bit. So it's a very healthy balance between a C-Class and an X-Class, taking a lot of technology from the S-Class and borrowing the dimensions of, the small dimensions of the C-Class without sacrificing comfort. So it's a very nice in-between, at least for me. Now another thing that makes this car super nice is the drivetrain. Now this car is powered by a 4-cylinder engine, but not just any 4-cylinder engine, a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. That means it's efficient and powerful at the same time. Now if you know anything about turbochargers, is that they increase the power output of a small engine. So at the same time, since it's a smaller engine, it consumes less fuel than a bigger engine. Now the last generation of this car was powered by a V6, but it was not as efficient as this, and this creates almost the same power as that one. So it's a very healthy balance. Another reason why the 4-cylinder engine is not a bad thing is maintenance. Mercedes-Benz have a reputation for being terrible for maintenance, at least in Africa, at least in Nigeria. But at least with a 4-cylinder engine, maintenance for this particular car, the E300 4MATIC, which is 2017 model, is much more easier to maintain, at least for mechanics. And that engine is connected to a 9-speed gearbox. Stay with me. Now the power that a car makes, it's not all about the engine, it's about how the gearbox interacts with the engine. Now this engine, 9 speeds, is very intelligent, and it knows how to shuffle the small amount of power this engine makes. So this engine makes about 241 horsepower, 270 pound-feet of torque. That's not a lot. That's really not a lot compared to a lot of other cars that make a little bit more horsepower. But because of how efficient and smart the gearbox is, it makes the most of the power that it has. Air shift is behind the steering wheel here. What that did is that it freed up the space for gadgets, and so you don't have the gear lever here, you have it behind the steering wheel. That's an efficient packaging. Another thing that you have is that you have the ability to shift gears by yourself because you have paddle shift at the back, and that's for when you're feeling frisky. Now, one of the things I wanted to make very clear in this video was the fact that this car is a comfortable car. It's not supposed to be fast, so the performance numbers are not really mind-blowing. Stay with me. 0 to 60 is 6.5 seconds, and this car has a top speed of about 140-150 miles an hour. But that is enough for most people. Now, the people buying this car, this specific trim in this year, want something that, you know, takes them from work back home in comfort. Now, the steering wheel is electronically assisted, and it's very, very soft. And what that means is that you can simply relax and have a good drive. You don't have to fight the steering wheel no matter what. You know, you're just chilled and you're just putting in simple inputs. That's the whole idea of this car. So with 241 horsepower, with 270 pound-feet of torque, and a 9-speed intelligent gearbox, this car is perfect for driving you from work back home to that event in comfort. But at the same time, it's quick enough that when you want to overtake and when you want to get going, it has enough power to get going. That is the beauty of this specific car. So join me in the interior part of this car. It has an 8.4-inch screen up there for the infotainment. You use that to change a lot of things, and the way to control this, it's quite beautiful. You have your touchpad here, and you can either use this or use the rotary dial down here. So the way you can interact with the system is endless. Basically, you have menu here that takes you back to the menu of the car. You have different functions you can use, like media. Don't forget you have a touchpad here. You move that. You have home, then you have navigation. You use that for your maps, and then you also get vehicles. So you use this to, you know, to tune different aspects of the car. You have assistance, you have light, you have vehicle setting, you have dynamic setting, and of course this is where you can check the engine data and a lot of things about the car. So it's a very, very advanced system. Another thing I like very much about the interior of this car is the wood inlay that flows from here to that side. Another thing I love is the venting. Now this has this very pearl-like design, something you think you would find in the S-Class, but Mercedes-Benz found a way to bring that here. Another very cool thing you have is the shapes and the texture of the buttons, which are all very premium and very nice. Now you have a small clock here, a very small analog clock, and the way they integrated that is nice. So you have your charging pad down there. You can also store your phone, and then you can also connect your device from this side, which is nice. Another thing you have here, which is a very cool addition, is this, the sunroof, and the buttons to operate that is right here. And you can have that opened up, you see the skies, or you can have that closed up. So it's a very nice integration with the entirety of this car. Now I'd like to point out in this vehicle is the controls for the seat, which are very, very advanced. They are electronic. You can control things like the seats, the backrest, the headrest. The seats are heated, which is quite nice. So if you're in cold climate, you can put heating on, and then the seat would get warm, which is just awesome with that button. I put that off. Another thing I love very much is the Bombmaster speakers in this car. They are simply ridiculous. Now, one of the things that this car has is a lot of safety baked into it. Now, one thing that people can get their minds over is Tesla and their autopilot. It drives itself. Now, but this car also has the function to do that. Not as good as a Tesla, obviously, but it has its own perks. Now, one of the things you have is that you have a highway system that if you're on a highway with white markers and you engage the auto drive, this car would actually drive itself on a highway with white markers. So that's not something we have in Nigeria, I think. In Lagos, we don't have many of them. Now, this car would actually drive itself, and it gives you 60 seconds to take your hands off the wheel. Then after 60 seconds, you have to put your hands back. Now, it's not as effective as Tesla's system. Tesla's system it's way more advanced, but for a 2017 model, it's still quite advanced. So this is my review of this car, the E300 4MATIC, and it's been a very nice day. It's actually my birthday, actually, recording this car, and it's been a very beautiful experience. Who is this car meant for? Now, this car is meant for a very select group of people who need something very comfortable but don't want to buy the S-Class. Now, the S-Class is an overkill for a lot of people because you have to deal with the V8. You also have to deal with the fact that maintenance cost is higher, and you also have to deal with the fact that it's a larger vehicle. But this car, the E300 2017 4MATIC, is smaller than the S-Class. It has almost the same luxury you can have in the S-Class. It costs less, and it costs less to maintain the car. So it's a very nice balance. This car is ready for sale, and the prices for this car is between 15 to 17 million for most dealers. But I think it's a very nice car, and it gets my thumbs up for design, for power, for efficiency. This car is 4.5 stars from me. Now, thank you for staying on this video. You can comment and like the video. You can also share, and I would really appreciate it if you subscribe and tell your friends about the car revolution coming about. So thank you for staying on. God bless you.